It's a great honor to me. I met Brett Cash some years ago. He helped me with the teens in Olympic Center, teaching wrestling, Greek-Roman techniques. He's a great person. He's a great friend. I would like, Brett, you talk a little bit about the wrestling in Australia first, your experience in Olympic Games.
I started wrestling when I was 5 years old with my twin brother. My grandfather was a coach. I continued wrestling as a hobby, as a sport.
Is he alive still?
My grandfather, yeah, he's still alive. Still going down once a week, traveling 1 hour every week to make sure everything's going all right down there. And then when I was 16, I started to get a little bit more serious. Had the opportunity to go and train full time, to live in a national sports centre and train 2 or 3 times a day, and then get some international coaching and some international travel and some experience, which all led up to the 2000 Olympics, where I was lucky enough to qualify in the Greco-Roman and compete for Australia in Sydney, which was an awesome experience.
You tell me some years ago when you live in USA, in Colorado, is right? They train by season. You have a season of basketball and after football. In Australia, is the same or is different?
In America, the school system, yeah, is broken up into seasons. You've got your football season, your summer, you have your athletics, your track. In Australia, it's a little bit different. You have more of a 2 seasons where you have your summer and your winter. So you have your summer sports and your winter sports. You have athletics and cricket, which is a sport similar to baseball.
What's the most popular sport in Australia?
The most popular sport, there's kind of 2 or 3. Depends on the state where you're in.
Rugby?
Rugby is very popular, especially in New South Wales and Queensland.
First one?
No, actually the most popular participation sport would be a sport called netball, which is very similar to basketball, but is played by females, or predominantly females. And the second most popular sport for participation would be soccer, football.
In the USA, the children start at school. In Australia, at the club or academy. Where is the most popular place to start wrestling and Greek-Roman? And the second question, since the children trains Greek-Roman and freestyle, or just train freestyle? They're 14 years old, for example.
Your first question, most people start wrestling in clubs in Australia. We don't have it in the school system, and depending on the state, depends on the kind of clubs. Whereas in my state, New South Wales, most of the clubs are run by the police organisation. They have different sports places open, and they think it's a good idea to prevent crime by introducing sport and some kind of discipline to people when they're young. The second question was, yeah, most children in Australia start with freestyle wrestling. Freestyle wrestling is a lot more popular in Australia. I started with freestyle. You get a few more coaches that are Greco-Roman based from Europe living in Australia now, and they're starting to introduce some different clubs now for Greco-Roman.
From Russia?
From Russia, Belarus. There's a lot of different ethnicities living in Australia now.
Japan is a great school, especially for the female. They have more than 4 Olympic medals. And for you, which is the best school of all in wrestling and Greek-Roman style? In Brazil, we think Cuba and Russia is the best to Greek-Roman, USA to wrestling. Is it right?
Predominantly, yes, but it depends. It goes in cycles. So 1996 Olympics, Poland was the best Greco-Roman country. Russia is always strong in both freestyle and Greco. America is always strong in freestyle, but in 2000 did better in Greco. They won more medals. Iran, America, Russia, and Cuba are always strong in both styles. And then you get in between, you get different countries which are very strong, like Korea is very strong in Greco, and then you get the odd person here and there winning medals, especially from the other Eastern Bloc countries, Ukraine, Belarus, Bulgaria. They're all strong countries.
You live in USA for 2 years in Colorado.
1 year over 2 year period, so 12 months out of 2 years. So I lived there for 3 months, went back to Australia, and then went back to America for another 3 months, and I did that 4 times.
What USA have that Australia don't have in the rest?
Just the amount of people that participate. When they started, there's so many coaches, so much money, and it's just such a bigger population. Australia has so many different sports, which we do very well in. For a small country, it's amazing how we compete at a high level at so many different sports. So there's so many different choices for people to do. Whereas America, it's more of an institution. Like, it's one of the 4th or 5th biggest high school sports. They have more people in one city that does wrestling than all of Australia.
Do you know wrestling Brazilian style? We have just a silver medal in 2006. Under 20. You help me in Olympic Center with teenager children. You know the Brazilian high level. We are going to come to the top. But in your opinion, what we need to get in this level of the top ones?
I think Brazil just needs time. You see, they've got so many different sports which are very similar to wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu, and they're always getting world champions in these 2 sports. It just takes time for wrestling. You can't get a world champion in a couple of years. It takes 10 years, 15 years, and then you need those young people to keep wrestling and then become coaches, and then they help the next generation. So just time.
Olympic athletes that train in wrestling, Greek-Roman, to MMA. MMA is not similar to violence. Many ones, when you talk about wherever kind of fight, judo, jiu-jitsu, the top of mind is violence. The people think violence. Changed a lot in the last years, and the most important reason for the migration from judo or other kind of styles to MMA is the money. What do you think about it?
I think you're exactly right. Lots of Olympic athletes, such as wrestlers and judo players, now start to switch towards the MMA. I think they like the publicity of it, but definitely they like the money. You see, boxing is exactly the same. People would fight amateur until they've gone to an Olympics or 2, then switch over to boxing professionally, and I think the main reason is for money. If someone can make a profession at what they love, and if they just change it a little bit, I think, like you're saying, MMA has changed a lot and is very enticing for a lot of athletes.
Many children have this dream. One day I'll go to the Olympic Games. Many ones will not get it. You represent Australia in 2000 in Australian Olympic Games, and I know it's very important for you. I would like to send a message for the children that never will stay in the Olympic Games, but how important is to practice wrestling on other kind of sport?
Sport's just important for everyone, for your health, for your fitness and health. Also, not everyone's going to be a doctor, not everyone's going to be an Olympic athlete, not everyone's going to be a scientist, but everyone needs to set their own personal goals and keep working for them. I was lucky enough to represent my country, and I know people that missed out through different varying circumstances, and quite often it's not only the best people that get to go, sometimes it's people that are lucky as well.